There is a version of you that could completely change your life. Stronger, disciplined, grounded, capable. And yet, you avoid becoming that person at all costs. Not because you can't become them, but because the identity you have now is terrified of what that version would force you to confront. Most people are not afraid of discipline. They are not afraid of hard work. They are not afraid of success. What they fear is emotional responsibility, the responsibility that comes with becoming someone they can no longer hide from. You know this version of yourself. You felt glimpses of it, moments of clarity, moments of hunger, moments of momentum, moments where something inside you felt powerful, and it scared you, deeply, because becoming that person would mean the death of the identity you've been protecting for years. And dopamine is invested in keeping that identity alive. Dopamine needs you impulsive, distracted, overwhelmed, reactive. It needs you avoiding responsibility. It needs you living on autopilot. Because if you ever slow down, if you ever get quiet, if you ever face yourself honestly, you would see how much of your life was shaped by fear instead of choice. Part 11 exposes the hardest truth yet. You fear the disciplined version of yourself because they would demand the life you've been avoiding. They would demand honesty. They would demand boundaries. They would demand consistency. They would demand healing. They would demand accountability. They would demand cutting off the people who keep you small. They would demand destroying the habits that numb you. They would demand letting go of the excuses that have protected you for years. And your current identity feels naked without those excuses. You don't avoid discipline because it's hard. You avoid it because it leaves you exposed. When you are disciplined, you can no longer say, "It's not my fault. I didn't have time. I got overwhelmed. I wasn't ready. I'll try again tomorrow." Discipline removes every escape hatch you've used to survive yourself. It forces you to admit your life is the result of choices, not fate. And that realization is terrifying. There is another reason you avoid the better version of yourself. The moment you glimpse who you could become, you also see everything you could have been. The years wasted, the potential ignored, the nights numbed with dopamine instead of building something meaningful, the opportunities destroyed because you weren't ready to grow. That grief is overwhelming, so most people run. They hide in distraction. They hide in denial. They hide in busyness. They hide in identities shaped by trauma instead of intention. But here is the truth Part 11 delivers. Your fear of becoming better is the only thing standing between you and the life you want. Not luck, not timing, not resources, not other people. Just fear. Raw, primal, psychological fear. Fear of responsibility. Fear of losing excuses. Fear of real success. Fear of becoming someone you no longer recognize. Fear of letting go of the version of you that survived until now. Your current identity has one job: keep you alive. It does not care if you're miserable. It does not care if you're unfulfilled. It does not care if you're wasting potential. It only cares about survival. And survival feels safest when nothing changes. But here is the turning point. You will not transform until staying the same hurts more than becoming someone new. And you feel that pain now. The restlessness, the guilt, the frustration, the sense that you're meant for more but never step into it. That's not weakness. That's your future self trying to break through. Part 11 ends with this truth. The version of you that terrifies you the most is the only version that can save your life. And the moment you stop running from them, everything changes.